went to bleeding races, 'twas on the 9th of June, 1862 on a summer's afternoon. I took the bus to Banbury's and she was heavy laden. Away we went along Collingwood Street, that's on the road to bleeding.
You're watching Toon Army TV. Please like, please subscribe if you're new. I am on the verge of 2,700 subs. I'm literally 20 or less away. If you could subscribe, that would be amazing, helping the channel to grow in 2020. Also, follow my social medias down below in the description. Now, more on the Newcastle United Takeover talk, which has been teamed up with Amanda Staveley and the Public Investment Fund, which is run in Saudi Arabia. Now, the latest news that I've got from Sky Sports on Wednesday night was apparently Amnesty International UK, they have written a formal complaint to the Premier League. Now, they are a human rights charity, and the director of that charity is Katie Allen. And as you can see on the screen, here's a statement of complaint to the Premier League. I'm not going to read it out in full. You can read it for yourself, and you can stop it at certain points of this video for more information on it. But basically, they want to block any takeover of my club, Newcastle United, by the Public Investment Fund in Saudi Arabia. Now, of course, we all heard in the last few days that it's gone closer than ever before. Under Mike Ashley, there's never really been any clear sign that Mike Ashley wants to sell the club. Of course, there's been no comment from my club, Newcastle United, or Mike Ashley. There's been no word from Lee Charnley. So something is obviously happening. And the latest I've got is that there has been a deposit laid down to the Premier League, and they're now conducting their fit and proper persons tests to see if these owners are fit enough to run our football club going forward. Now, with the Premier League receiving this letter, it basically reads that they're very worried of the human rights of people in Saudi Arabia and what's been happening to the likes of journalists, etc. It's not something I really want to talk about, and whatever's happened, if it has happened, if it's all media speculation, don't get us wrong. You know, I'm so against what they do, but that's what happens over there in a sense. Like, it's not something I can control. All I care about really now is trying to see what happens to my football club, to see if it's going to be bought out, to see if we're going to progress and move forward. Don't get us wrong. You know, I do feel sorry for those people, but listen, I'm from England. I'm not from over there. You know, different rules, different laws, you know. And they believe that if they were to take over my club, that they're going to give the Premier League a bad name. It's going to give them a bad image. But I'm not being funny to the statement, but it's a little trife, if you ask me. If you think about it, right, if they're going to investigate these owners who are potentially taking over my club, then you've got to look at the owners of Sheffield United. I mean, they're Saudi Arabian. What about all the other owners at Man United, like the Glazers? What about Roman Abramovich at Chelsea? What about all the other owners up and down the Football League? Why us? Why should we be any different to anybody else? Because we could potentially be getting a rich owner. I mean, we can't have any control of who buys our football club. At the end of the day, we want Mike Ashley out the football club. That is the bigger picture. And of course, it's not gone down too well with a lot of people. And of course, BEIN Sports, you know, they do a TV broadcast in Qatar. And it's Richard Keys and Andy Gray. They both present that show. And listen, Richard Keys doesn't like us. He doesn't like the football club. He says loads of negative things. And they've obviously written to the Premier League to suggest that, you know, they want the deal to collapse. And they've teamed up with the charity to stop the club from being bought, which, if you look at it this way, right, we just want to see owners come in if they've got the money. And there was a statement from the Premier League a day later suggesting from the chief executive of the Premier League, Richard Masters. He's basically said that it's in the hands of them. They are basically looking at it. They need to do their fit and proper persons tests. And if, for me, these owners were not legit, if they were within a criminal background, then surely, because this takeover rumours have been going around, well, talk if you like, it's been going for the last week, then they would have pulled out. Something would have been said. Nothing has been said, you know. This has been going on for a week and a bit. And if it's not true, then something should have been said a long time ago, especially in a pandemic. But to suggest that you don't want to see a successful North East club, for me, is very disheartening. I think, listen, I want to see my club be successful. You know, with a little bit of investment in the North East, I want to see my club compete with the very best. You know, all the football in all the glory is down Manchester, it's down London, it's down south of, you know, the country. Why can't the North East, for a change, have a good football club that can be run the right way? Why can't we mix it with the big boys we used to back in the day? Yes, you'll say, well, it was in the 90s, it was in, you know, the early 2000s, and football's moved on since then. Yes, granted. But since Mike Ashley has come into the football club, he's never really invested properly. He's never really bought the best players. He's never, you know, backed the managers correctly. And this is why we're in this slump. And this is why we want Mike Ashley out of the football club. I think the attendances this season, before giving away the half-season tickets for free, they speak for themselves, you know. And Mike Ashley now knows to sell up. But to suggest that what they're trying to do by, you know, coming into sport, that they're going to make their image look better, no, because they've got a vision for 2030. And they want to buy a football club to become successful, not just in business terms, but in a sporting terms as well. And there's no better club to buy it, which would be us. You know, I think we deserve some sort of success. I'm not saying buy titles. I'm on about trying to get into that top 6. I think it's not impossible with a bit of investment. Do you know what I mean? Or even short-term Europa League. You know, we don't want much as a fan base. We want to see a team that tries. And we can't progress beyond mid-table until Mike Ashley leaves, you know. And then, you know, there's been all of this talk, and obviously it's now in the hands of the Premier League. I sort of got taken aback, you know, when I seen it. I thought, it's just typical, man. Typical people who are just jealous of the football club, that don't want to see us succeed. I think anybody outside football who doesn't support Newcastle United has a soft spot for the club, want to see us do well. They want to see a North East club, for a start, competing with the rest. For me, and I'll say it, we are bigger than Sunderland. We're bigger than Middlesbrough. We are the biggest club in the North East. But don't demand titles. We demand a team that tries. I'll say it so many times, man. I've said it so many times on YouTube. I want to see some positivity. And people are talking about, oh, well, it's going to, you know, be taken over in a couple of days. The Daily Telegraph reported it. Listen, the takeover happens when it happens, if it happens. I always say if. It's all pure speculation. You know, they're talking about, oh, Pochettino could be the next big thing, Rafa Benitez, and I was speaking about this yesterday in the previous video. If you want to see that, there'll be a card above. I just want to see some sort of ambition. And if it isn't true, this takeover, say something. Say something. But now I feel a little bit more optimistic, a bit more excited, but sort of excited inside, not to the point where I'm getting ahead of myself. You know, I want to be positive. You know, I want to see positive energy at the football club. You know, I want to see the fans go back and be happy. You know, that we've got a team that we can support. We've got a manager who we can get behind. You'll say, well, Steve Bruce is in a job. You know, you're being disrespectful. He's got 9 games, etc. Listen, what happens to Steve Bruce happens to Steve Bruce. You know, I don't have any say. We've never had any say in the football club. Who comes in, who gets sold, what managers come in, what managers get sacked. We don't have a say. We want some sort of stability. That's what we're asking for. Stability. There isn't any stability at the minute, you know. And saying all these statuses of things, Newcastle are going to get their deals blocked. Listen, I've heard all this shite before, man. I heard it, you know, years ago. And yeah, some of them haven't been blocked. A lot of them have been sort of quashed because they haven't had the financial money. Now, for me, I've always said this is probably the final chance now with Amanda Staveley that we can try and get some deal done, because she's been trying to do this for the past 3 years and she's failed on a few occasions. Could this be 3rd or 4th time lucky? You know, we just want to see the club in new hands. And listen, I'm not suggesting if they're going to come in, they're going to be successful. I'm not trying to back them in any way to say they're perfect. Nobody is perfect. But we don't have any idea about the background. We know they're the public investment fund. We know that they've got money. We know that they've got billions. But there's obviously financial fair play. I get that. But the thing is, right, these are a charity. And Richard Keys is Richard Keys. I mean, he is as irrelevant as my big hairy toe. Like, I do not like Richard Keys. I could talk about Richard Keys and Andy Gray for what they've done in the past, but I won't, because I'm not like them. You know, I'm not harsh towards another club. I'm not harsh towards individuals. And listen, what happens, happens. I am a bit more confident now that we can get something done. It's a case of staying patient and waiting. That's all I'm going to do now. Sit and wait patiently and see what happens. Because if you get ahead of yourself and it doesn't happen, then, as I've said before, we can be stung and we can have egg on our face. And when you're hearing all these journalists and all these people coming out with, oh, we don't want Newcastle United to be successful. In my opinion, right, if I had it my way, every club in the Premier League should be rich. Every Premier League club, right, in the Premier League should be rich. They should all have some money to spend. Everybody should be on equal par to compete with each other if I had it my way. But it's not my way, is it? There we go. But let me know your thoughts about the potential blocking of Newcastle United's takeover deal. Personally, I don't think it's going to be blocked. If anything, it's probably going to fall through if the worst was to happen. But fingers crossed, I don't want it to be there. I want Newcastle, my club, to be, you know, successful. I've always said if it does happen, it's short baby steps trying to progress the club to the next level. Anyway, that's been my little rant for today. Please don't forget to subscribe, as I've said before. 2,700 subs, less than 20 away now. Follow my social medias, all links down below in the description. Can you smash that like button and put your comments down below? Like I say, keep watching the news. Keep finding out all the latest information. I will be back with another video on the latest with the takeover. Be sure to join TOON Army TV. So, thank you very much for watching. Keep it tuned. See you later.
I want